Hello YouTube, we're going to sharpen this dull axe that has no edge. If you've seen the video, you can tell. See what I'm saying? There's no edge, that's flat. We have extra belts we bought. We have a 100, and we bought 10 of them that are 180. Okay. And they average like $2 a piece. A little under. It's like 18 bucks, you get 10 of them. And plus we still have the original 80 grit. Might as well show you that. There's the 80 grit. And this is aluminum oxide for wood. These are say SC before the number when you order them. They are silicon carbide. If you can read that. There you go. Silicon carbide. Made more from metal. So there you go. You take the cover off. You have to loosen this up. There's a spring in there. So I'll show a little bit of this thing. It's a little tricky to get it, but it has its own tension. When you loosen it, I just don't want to do it on camera. It's not hard to do. They just don't show the instructions. You got to loosen that. It's got a spring on it, and then the tension comes. You got to push down on it to get the belt on, and you do that. You push down, tighten it out, hold the roller, then you release it. I said I'm confusing myself there, so let's get to work. We're not going to really show you the machine running because it's noisy on camera, which I can start it and you'll know. And it's worse. Once I process it and put it on YouTube, it's noisier, nastier, weird sounding than it is in my camera. So it's just how it's processed. But it sounds terrible. We all know it does. So stay tuned. We'll get this thing sharpened. Okay, I am no way an axe sharpener. This is the first time I'm ever doing this on a belt sander. And I do it with it coming towards the blade. The belt's coming down. Don't do it this way because you'll hit back here where you don't want to hit because you can't see what angle you're doing. See what I mean? I did leave the cover off. I wouldn't recommend doing that. Wear your goggles. Wear your dust mask. Do not breathe silicon carbide sandpaper or dust. And have a fan on high over here blowing it away from me. You can see where it went all over the table from the fan. It would have been less if the cover was on. It would actually come out the back here more off the bottom. So stay tuned. We're off to using a file next. Okay, we actually sure wore gloves at the belt sander, especially these little things. Keep your hands getting dirty. It's hard to see, I know it is here, but I'm guessing it's about a 25 to 30 degree bevel. Some people put like 35 on an chopping axe, but we want to be able to cut stuff with it. You know, little kindling wood and little tree branches, but it's not bad. I mean, I hit a couple times and got carried away, and like right here, see where it gets wide? That'll buff off. It's not really grounded, just kind of scuffed it. But all I can do is tell you, try to get this even. You know, I never can turn it around on camera the other way because of the handle. Try to get these even. And I just hold my little protractor or whatever. I always get it mixed up. Compass draws circles, and to me with the degrees like protractor. So I get the two mixed up. And I know what they are. Your angle finder. So if I hold it up there and look at it, it's more like between 25 and 30. We don't want 35. That's too blunt. 35 would be go up more like this, more blunt. It wouldn't be tapered because 20 is almost like a chef's knife or like a nice sharp thin pocket knife edge. We don't want to do that customizing thing with this like we experimented with because the thinner the edge the more you can damage it. But there, enough yak. I just wanted to show you what quality you can do, and I'm an amateur at that. Use the belt sander like I said. Do it with the sandpaper coming towards you. Don't do this. You can't see what you're doing. Do it like this. And it's a curving motion. Of course, you got your flat, whatever, that metal thing on there where the sandpaper hits, so it's flat. So just practice on something junky first if you're going to start doing this for a hobby. Get one that's just totally junk and practice on it. And that was with the 100 grit. So now we're going to decide whether we're going to use our board to file with or not. I think we are, because that's a lot of work. But I just put my board in the vise, clamp it down, and it's a lot easier to hold this when you file. So we're yakking too long, but I said, we get bored, we don't have nobody to talk to, we're still in lockdown. So the videos might get even longer This could be a happening. Ain't gonna be no half-hour video. I always do that. I did that one time. Be a 2-part video, probably an hour each one. I'll click, they're gone. Change the channel, and they'll stay there. Stay tuned. Okay, we're using our board display device. Makes it more solid. It's still kind of wobbly. With the wood defects we had, and we just do not like that blunt edge like this. This is more like 20 degrees. We're going with that. Because it's mine, I want it thinner. It's not gonna, we're not thinning anything out in here. Like those custom ones I did. We're just going to do it that way. So now we need to turn it over and match that. We will measure this with our calipers and go put a scratch line on the other side for a reference of how wide this is. I'm sure y'all know what I mean. Calipers. They're around here somewhere. You know what I'm talking about. With the dial on them. So, off to the next part. Do the next side. Stay tuned for that. Okay, just a quick tip. Put some Sharpie on there. I got the big fat Sharpie. And use the caliper. It's about 5 millimeters. There, I went metric on it. It was easier. I grabbed the ruler. What's it? 3/16. It's 5 millimeters. See, I know not to go past that line. And don't be afraid to keep scratching. That'll all buff off. Don't be afraid to put the Sharpie marker back on there and then reline it. Because that way you know both sides are even. If both sides are even, then the angle's probably even. Just common sense, right? If both sides are ground the same far distance back, I think you know what I mean. I hope so. I said, I'm not an expert at this. I've been learning this stuff all winter. I've did knives and stuff, but I decided I got to have a thinner edge. I cannot handle that edge that was on there I showed at the beginning. Stay tuned for more. Okay, this is a fine finish called Second Cut file. They're hard to find. It's an old one. I don't know if you can even find one in a store. But see how I'm almost to the line. We're leaving a little bit of it. Don't run your finger too much. That's getting sharper than what you think. But now I'll probably take it off the board and do the rest by hand, but I keep flipping it back and forth using whatever different. There you go. That's just about it. See, I got that a little bit longer edge. If I get the focus. There. I'm always trying to show a little bit longer edge. And I'd call that maybe 20 degrees each side. And then I get confused because people say you got to take the whole angle. You got to measure the whole angle. Well, I just, you know, I know if each side's like 20 degrees, it's like some of my favorite knives. Here, we're playing with the focus. I think I made it work. You've seen it once, so let's quit wasting time trying to do that. Okay, now this ain't sharpened yet, we're just building the edge. I took this file, went different directions, and it has a crosshatch pattern. See that? You can kind of see it as it shows up. I know the lighting's terrible. And I am not a good teacher. But I've got it marked and it's pretty even. I mean, don't be afraid to practice it, doing this. I said, when you got your Sharpie marker, if you grind to that mark and down here, don't take away anything from this edge. You know, if you get an axis dull, now starting from scratch like I did, I mean, I got lucky on the sander. The nice little 2-inch sander, it did just perfect. I can't use that big junky 4-inch wide old, you know, the H&F one. It's it's not precise. Okay, now we're going to use our honing whetstones. I might show you a clip, but I don't want this video to be too long. I've done enough axe sharpening this winter, but when you get a new one, you get bored. I do like this little thing. I really do. Wood handles I like, and I like the traditional head. Them other ones, like the red handle and stuff you watched, those are going to be given to neighbor, kid, or neighbor, or somebody I know, because I don't need a whole collection of hatchets. I want to save the ones that I like for me. Okay, we'll pause. We're going to take a break, a much deserved break, as you can tell. I won't tell. I've had to go on the black market almost, undercover, underground, whatever, to get me some dang gloves because the Harbor Freight's out. A friend of mine gave me a bunch of these. But they're cheap, see 'em? Beggars can't be choosers. We're all in this together. Share and share alike. If you got it, share it. Okay, these are stones for my knife sharpener. We got them soaking in the water, can of water. We clamped it this way, which makes it easier. Just one clamp, flip it over. We have our spray bottle to wash our stones out with. We use some sandpaper when they get clogged. We're ready to go to town. First thing we do is take the Sharpie marker off so I can see more what I'm doing. So we don't need it anymore. The rest is all eyeball work. So here we go. Okay, we are done. We'll take our stones and then we even use 220 sandpaper. We'll go this way just to polish the edge, just to show it off. It's not super sharp. I have to spend a little more time if I want it real sharp. Took all the varnish off and oiled it. I'm running low on oil, so I probably won't put too much on this for a while. But if you do it once in a while, once a week, then once a month, it'll get darker. I left that on there for now, so I know what it is. There you go. We did leave a little varnish shatter on the end, just to kind of waterproof it. It doesn't matter. It keeps it from sucking up water. But there you go. Just a cheap little axe. This one, like I said, all I know was around $20 or under $20 on Amazon, if you're wondering where I found it. And I do have another video on it, so you can get a few more specs. And I guess it's about 1.5 pounds. You read that and they'll say like 1¼ pounds, 1/2. So you're never going to get it accurate unless you actually took the head off and weighed the thing. But people do the balancing thing here. Here, we'll do this before we leave. About where does it balance out? Because the handle isn't light, but it's still way heavier than the handle. You could tell that. It just will not. There you go. Enough of that fancy stuff there they show. I'm just an amateur at this. I'm just slowly learning how to do this. I knew how to sharpen an axe when I was a kid, but modify and make them thinner. But that's the edge I want. That's how thin I want this. This is going to be a little work hatchet. It's heavy enough to slam into some wood, so I don't want it too thin and brittle. So thanks for watching, if you watched the whole video. And sooner or later I'll run out of axes to grind.